Thank you for downloading the Make and Break podcast. For more information, visit us at makebreakshow.com.
This is Make and Break.
You are listening to Make and Break episode 3 for May 22nd, 2010, Cooking with the Chairman. With us today, again, wonderfully, is the Chairman.
Thanks for having me again, Jim.
So, what do we have up for the agenda today?
Well, from what I understand, I'm going to cook you a mighty fine little dish.
Well, that's good. As we speak, I'm in the process of creating something of my own. I'm about to serve up some fellatio fish sandwiches. I've got some fish bites, toasted bun, with some cheese and tartar sauce. And I'm working on an asparagus chicken soup. Might throw some cream in it. So, what's news around your parts, Chairman?
Well, I myself been trying to, get by, make a living, but I've heard some interesting stuff going around the old feed bag, not unlike little tidbits, such as termites eat wood twice as fast when listening to heavy metal music.
Heavy metal. So it's a possibility that there are termites that have slowed down a bit due to the loss of Ronnie James Dio.
Absolutely. I wouldn't doubt that.
There's some tartar sauce being applied to the toasted buns. The cheese is melting onto the fish nicely.
I notice you're taking your time. Would you say that you would speed up had you been listening to heavy metal music?
I might have cut half of my fingers off if I had.
Very well.
I have cooked while listening to the Minutemen before with great result.
Great results in terms of time or great results in terms of food?
Food quality, preparation time, and also great tunes.
It's funny because it works on multiple levels since they are the Minutemen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm now cutting up a bell pepper. I have a green and a red. I'm going to roast them. I'm going to roast them under the broiler for a few minutes to sweeten them up a bit. It'll allow the skin to fall off more easily, just like how I like my women.
So, a bell pepper, is it something you use in a recipe often?
No.
Now, have you ever had use for, say, an eggplant?
I don't care for eggplant. I can't put my finger on it. It's kind of like why I don't really care for a lot of seafood. There's something about the texture of eggplant I'm not very enthusiastic about it.
Well, that might have something to do with the fact that 2/3 of the world's eggplant is grown in New Jersey.
New Jersey? That's interesting.
Yeah, I think they're going to make a reality show about it.
The eggplants of New Jersey.
Yeah. I saw...
Well, haven't they already made a show about the eggplants of New Jersey? They are kind of Oompa Loompa-ish.
I don't know if they've done a reality show about New Jersey yet, but I did see an interesting documentary about some trash that washed up on the Jersey Shore.
I'm washing my broiler pan after it being used for the cooking of fish fillets. I'm going to use it as to roast my peppers on. This is something that they don't ever show in the cooking shows that you see on TV that are actually well produced and professionally done.
How does that differ from this? I'd like to know.
The preparer doesn't have to wash dishes as they work.
I'm still failing to see a difference here because you clearly have Jorge over here doing the washing for you. You've got these nice clean dishes. You've got a wonderful studio here, by the way, Jim. I'm really impressed since the last time I was here.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad to see you're taking the revenue from the show and really giving it back to the listener.
Oh, that's the thing. Is all of that income gets reinvested into the show to make every show better than the show that preceded it.
So what you're listening to right now, if you're listening to this as a brand new podcast, this is the best show ever until next week.
That's absolutely right. And what I'm looking forward to next week is that this audio podcast will be in, I'll be able to stream it live in color.
Ah, very good. And then after that, the only place you can go is 3D.
Well, the next step is to have the 3D audio podcast in color.
Technicolor.
That's pushing a barrier. You just start getting into a barrier like that, and your wings are going to end up snapping off. You don't want to overwhelm the listener. And so, right now, everybody's having a great time listening to a cooking show. I'm about to shave some corn off of the corn cobs so that I can start preparing the garnish vegetables for the soup that I'm making. The stock vegetables are in the pot as we speak. And next week, it'll be in color. Maybe I'll be able to display the soup. But in the short term, everybody's just going to have to put up with this wonderful podcast that happens to be in black and white.
Now, when you're shaving these corn kernels, can you kind of walk us through your process here? Because from what I understand, you are, maybe Wikipedia was wrong, but you are the 1987 corn kernel shaving champion, right?
I'm very proud of that accomplishment, but it's not something I like to throw in people's faces frequently. I'm
Right.
not that kind of a guy.
Right, it's like name dropping. I heard once the worst thing you can do is name drop, and you know who told me that? It was Robert De Niro.
You don't say. Oh, I'm cutting the corn I cut the end of the corn off as we speak. Now, I do need to warn everybody that times have changed since I won my corn shaving competition in 1987.
Times change, people age.
Well, that's true, and I stopped competing professionally because I had an ethical problem with the techniques used by the up-and-coming shavers.
Right.
Similar to, say, a bicyclist riding the Tour de France, that they are accused of doping. That, to me, is on par with what I was running into. My father taught me how to shave corn with a straight razor and a leather strop. And these kids were coming up with 2-bladed razors, and now the professional corn shaving competitions, they have 5-bladed corn shavers. This, to me, is pushing the envelope beyond what is possible with the normal human capability, and now it's become artificial.
The rise of HSH,
Absolutely.
human shaving hormone.
It
It applies to both your face and your cob of corn.
I have lost many a friend chasing that dragon.
It's a damn shame.
I'm now shaving the corn. One of the difficulties with shaving corn is that the niblets fall off and they start bouncing all over the place, so you might end up having to sweep your kitchen floor up. Now I have a perfectly hexagonal
Cob of corn.
cob of corn, that's right. That'll go in the compost pile. We like to do the compost here in the Jim Glenstein kitchen. Isn't that right, Jorge?
See.
All right, so I'm going to set aside this corn that I've shaved off. Set that aside in a bowl. Some like to use bowls, some like to use ramekins. Some people like to use Romanians.
Tuesday, 10:57 a.m. New message to
You better not be out at the bars drinking. I've been out here selling my biscuits all goddamn day, dressed up in my nice tie, looking good, while you're out at the bar drinking. All the new girls show up on the island. You put on your goddamn fancy pants and new fancy shoes and go around strut your stuff like you don't even know me anymore. Bye.
Okay, I have peeled a carrot, removing all of that filthy, filthy skin that I so don't care for. Now, and I have diced it up into 1/4-inch dies.
Die? Can you
Pieces.
do a 20-sided carrot? If so, we got a game.
Dungeons and Carrots. Okay, so that has been set aside, placed in the ramekin of corn. Look at those colors. Just look at these. Look at these colors. These are wonderful colors. Got some the orange in there and the yellows.
That is nice. You viewers at home are hearing this in black and white, and that's too bad because
The colors are stupendous.
They really are. Now these are. Would you say these fall under the garnish vegetable?
Yes. The stock vegetables are in the pot as we speak, simmering with the chicken broth. I will remove those vegetables once their flavors have been sapped. Then that will leave a clear broth. I am simmering the soup at a low temperature, about 185, maybe 190 degrees, to keep the broth from turning cloudy. And when the product is finished, I will place the garnish vegetables in the broth, Cooking only long enough to soften them, and it'll be a lovely soup.
Well, since we're talking about cooking, since this is a cooking-themed show, I feel like I should bring up the fact that 1 in every 9,000 people is albino.
1 in 9,000 people is albino.
Mm-hmm.
Jorge, we need to get some of these dishes cleaned. Okay, I'm peeling the skin off of my green peppers. The skin, if I don't remove it, will fall off in the soup, creating a tough interruption in the pleasure of the soup consumption.
You're removing the skin.
More skin removal. This seems to be a theme today. These are still very hot. I'm going to stop doing that.
Well, I was going to ask you more about this delicious soup that you're making. So the skin removal, how crucial is that in the process?
Well, here, take a piece of this skin and put it in your mouth.
I do not like that.
It just falls off in the soup.
I don't care for that. That
No.
is to our listeners at home. That is rather unpleasant.
Yeah, there you go. So that's why you do that. Just like when you're cooking with tomatoes, it's best to peel a tomato.
Now, do you have any recommendations at home for a particular brand of tomato peeler?
Tomato peeling, a knife and a bowl of hot water, boiling water.
Boiling water. So you put your hands in and start to just carve away at the tomato with the knife.
Absolutely.
Make a Break podcast does not actually endorse putting your hands in boiling water and shaving a tomato.
Tuesday, 3:36 p.m. New message 3.
One more thing. If you think I'm going to sit out here all goddamn day with my biscuits, Triscuits, and Chips Ahoy sitting around waiting for you, fuck you, asshole.
You've brought a special treat with you today, Chairman. Would you like to share?
I brought a special treat? Oh, I did. I had entirely forgotten. Well, while you're making this wonderful soup, I thought I would share one of my recipes. Since you said we were going to do a cooking segment today, I thought, well, maybe I should bring something along.
Walk me through this. What do you plan on cooking today?
Should always start with a fresh Busch Light. Now, granted, this is merely for the cook and not for the dish.
Okay, so we won't be flavoring it with beer.
No, absolutely not. But I will tell you the dish will instantly be 100 times better, increased by amount of Busch Light that you consume prior to cooking said dish.
Okay, so the Busch Light is integral to the palette created. You're setting a base on your palate. Okay. What do you call this dish?
You know, it's unnamed. We'll just call it Chairman's Flavor. And if you'd like the Chairman's Flavor in your mouth, I'm telling you how you can have it at home.
I don't think I care for that, Chairman, but I'll take your word for that this is going to be wonderful.
Now, the first ingredient that I have here, brought 2 specimens here. These are Maruchan ramen noodle soup.
Oh, I see. Where do you get something like that?
Normally you would have to go to a specialty store, not unlike a Walmart or a Piggly Wiggly.
Okay.
Depending, these can be rare to find. You might have to have them specially ordered from your local grocery store. Now, if you do find a specialty store in your hometown that does carry the ramen noodle,
Jorge, put that down!
if they're in stock, you're going to have to go through and pick out the best one, not unlike picking, the best melon, the best apple, the best tomato.
Okay.
It's a selective process because I'm not exactly sure where these are grown, but I do know it takes a long time for them to get to the U.S. So, when picking out ramen noodles, what you want to do is you hold them in your hand as such. Take the one hand and you flick it. Do you hear that? That is the sound of a good bag of ramen noodles. I'll do that once more.
Okay, alright.
Now, the second bag I've brought, we'll just call it a less than perfect specimen. And as I put it through the same test, again, hand flat down, you give it a thump with your middle finger flicked off the thumb. Do you see the difference?
I do hear that difference, yes.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, definitely, especially that second time.
Yeah, it may take a little ear training, but I really don't think it should take too often.
For the listeners, can we hear the two of them right one after the other?
Okay, all right. Good bag and bad bag.
Yep, I hear it again. Yes.
It's a tricky process, but we do what we can. Now, what I'll need to begin the process is a standard boiling pot, I believe is the technical term.
Okay.
All right, so now that I have this, what I'm going to do is fill this with standard tap water, really. I mean, a lot of people have very high taste, but so I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to fill it with standard tap water. Just regular old tap water. Some people will debate whether or not you should start with hot or cold water based entirely on the notion that one will boil faster than the other. But let's face it, this is a fine quality dish. We're not in any hurry.
Okay, while we wait for that water to boil, can you describe to me possible inspirations or origins of this dish for the chairman's flavor?
Mostly just the aforementioned Busch Light. So as the water starts to boil, what you want to do is, and I heard this a long time
From the
ago.
mountain country.
I heard this a long time ago, and what you want to do is while the water starts to boil, you need to make sure that your eyes are constantly diverted away from the pot. Because if you are watching it, this pot of water, if you're looking directly at it, it will not boil. I'm not entirely certain of the scientific origins here, but there was a study done on it, I think by the university, I think Cambridge did something on it in about the mid-70s. So as you're diligently working on de-skinning those peppers for a dish that I'm sure will be marvelous but not quite up to the chairman's flavor, make sure that your eyes stay focused straight ahead towards the cutting board, or else we could be here, in theory, all night.
Yes, it's all coming together. The water is boiling.
Now, I think I should point out, yes, you don't want to make your pot too full, because despite the fact that on the packaging it says soup, I think that's a typo, because soup comes in cans, and these are clearly in plastic wrapping. So we will not be making a soup out of this. Proper ramen breaking techniques. Ramen noodles are a lot like intestine. If you were to boil the brick by itself, what you would have is one long noodle that would probably stretch.
Just like our intestines all the way to the moon.
Right.
All right.
Exactly. So think of intestines, large intestines, small intestines. Ramens are actually just the tiny intestines. So what you want to do is you want to grab it and you want to break it as such. Are you watching at home?
Oh, I see that. Yes. Okay.
Yes. And what you wind up with is pretty much about 4 quarter bricks. And I'm even going to use the bad package here, just so that we can have enough.
Okay.
So we've got, see, and now you can see this at home, but I'll also demonstrate audibly. You've got the good pack, which you can hear the 4 solid bricks, and you've got the bad pack, which clearly didn't break as well into four quarters.
No, it didn't.
Now, the next thing you want to do is there's a flap on the back here. Can you see that at home? And you crack it open, not unlike you would a bag of, say, Skittles, M&Ms. The tricky part is removing the flavor packet. You do not want to empty the flavor packet into the pot of boiling water, or else the only flavor you will get is some sort of tin.
Okay, so that's similar to removing the gizzards from a frozen chicken.
Yes. And you'll notice still, it'll plague you the entire time when you buy a bad pack of ramen.
Oh, that's not going well at all. Yes, I see.
No, it's just messy, and you gotta dig around for the flavor packet. And so what we've done here is emptied 2 packages of ramen into our boiling water, and basically what you want is more ramen than water, but not enough ramen it unendingly heaps over the water line.
Jorge, we need a fork.
Thank you, Jorge. What you want to do is you just want to keep an eye on it, because ramen will only typically take anywhere from 3 minutes to about 2 hours to cook.
Okay.
So you want to keep an eye on it, and just slightly break it up as you're stirring it around with your fork. Just a common household fork will work. There are some specialty boutiques that sell ramen forks, but it's not necessarily necessary. And by now, at this point in the cooking process, you should be on at least your third bush light for the cooking duration. Now, granted, preferably somewhere between 10 and 15 beforehand will make the dish just that much better. When you see the water start to kind of boil over and the bubbles get to take over the pot and you can't really see the ramen, that's when you want to just turn it down just a hair for maximum visibility of said ramen. So we're turning it down just a little bit. We went from about a 10 to, we're down to about 6 right now. And if we're lucky, we might be closer to the 3-minute mark on these particular ramens. I'm not sure, since we're using both a good and bad pack. Now, Jim, I notice you can't help be toiling away at your own.
Oh yes,
your own project.
I'm dicing up a chicken breast that I will saute up and add to my garnish for the soup. Would be the chicken part of the recipe.
Oh, so you actually put chicken in your chicken soup?
Yes.
That's where you and I differ.
What do you like to put in your chicken soup?
I'm a big fan of turkey. Maybe broccoli, a little bit of cheese. I like to put bread.
Bread in the soup?
Basically, I like to take turkey, maybe some ham, put it together with some lettuce, some broccoli, some cheese, sliced cheese, mind you, and then I try to wrap that in some sort of breading. Yeah, and then I'll just eat it like that. It's a waterless soup that I'm working on. It's something I do mostly, in the evenings by myself. When I'm just kind of playing around. Now, the ramen has officially come to a boil, and the noodles are thoroughly wet and have been sitting in boiling water, which is basically what you want.
Okay.
So now we're just going to let them sit there for about maybe 30 seconds to a minute before we pull out a colander and remove that unwanted water. Because as I said before, don't be fooled by the label.
Thank you, Jorge.
See, don't be fooled by the label. It's not a soup. These are ramen noodles. They don't call it spaghetti soup.
Sure.
It's not lasagna soup. I don't know what they're thinking, but... Now, as I empty these into the colander from the pot, the trick is to make sure that your colander definitely has holes in it. Otherwise, it's not a colander. It's what we call in the cooking industry a bowl.
I've made that mistake myself.
Well, we all have. We all have. But I'm assuming the average listener may be an amateur here. And so you pour it into the colander. And you kind of wish it around. And then you put it back into the bowl. Now, people at home may be thinking, well, he just made ramen noodles. I mean, sure, like an expert, but that's just making ramen noodles. Well, here's where the interesting bit comes in. I've got a secret ingredient. Now, folks at home, I don't know if you can see this, but what I have here is just an ordinary can of Campbell's condensed soup. Don't let it fool you. It's still not a soup, because this is cream of chicken soup.
Cream of chicken.
Hey, Jorge, can you keep it down?
Hey.
What I've got here is Campbell's condensed soup. Great for cooking. See, that's the difference. Soup is not great for cooking. No, you make soup. It's, you get a can of soup, it says great for making. So we've got our ramen back in the pot. You crack open the Campbell's condensed cream of chicken soup, great for cooking. and you just pour it right into that pot.
Oh, it
You
has
see
a
that?
lovely color.
Yes, it really does. It really does.
Does that taste like vanilla pudding?
No, nothing whatsoever. It's a visual homonym, if you will.
Okay.
And what you've got there is you've got 2 layers. You've got a layer of ramen. Well, actually, here we've got 3 layers. We've got pretty much a layer of bad ramen, a layer of good ramen, and then our layer of cream of chicken soup.
I see the, yes.
You discard the container, take your fork, and now what we're going to do is something what they call in the cooking world known as stirring. And you stir that.
Yeah, I see that. Now, okay, you're going clockwise with your stirring.
Yes. Yes.
What if you were inclined to go counterclockwise?
Well, stirring counterclockwise is something I learned from a. I didn't go to culinary school, but I once met a guy who did, and he told me that stirring counterclockwise is not only for housewives but also little girls.
Well, I've heard that Australians
Oh well, yes, yes.
stir counterclockwise.
Yes. But once if they should migrate to the States, they have to learn to adjust to go the otherwise because that's simply geographical. That's just a good Australian cook will, once he comes over to the States, be a better cook and also stir clockwise.
Okay, now that's still pretty steamy. Those noodles were pretty hot.
Yes.
Will it need more heating?
No. What we have now, basically what you need are 2 plates, and you've got a meal ready to serve.
It's exotic and fast.
And what is it that you're working on over there right now, Jim?
Okay, well, the chairman is stirring clockwise.
Yes, absolutely.
I am browning cubed chicken with a bit of thyme, salt, and pepper, getting a nice golden color so that it will be thoroughly cooked and hopefully retain some of its texture rather than cooking away when I put it back into the soup, or when I put it into the soup later. And I'll go ahead and just put that brown chicken right into my bowl of garnish.
Now, Jim, will you be using nutmeg at all in this soup of yours?
Okay, so what is your normal presentation? You said two plates. Now, if you're eating alone, do you still need 2 plates?
No. When eating by yourself, I would say require no plates. Just another Busch Light, and you just pull the pot over your lap, watch whatever happens to be on the television. Preferably after, if you're on your recommended 15th Busch Light, probably Cinemax? Well, this all depends if you had Busch Lights out in public or Busch Lights at home.
Oh, Chairman, that's beautiful.
Isn't it just wonderful? I don't know if you can hear the smearing motion at home. It really is the mark of a good ramen dish.
Now, will you be making a gravy out of these aluminum packets of chicken flavor?
No. What you do is you take those aluminum packets and you actually file them away in a cupboard for when you don't have packages or cans of cream of chicken soup. And that way, if you're not getting enough sodium, you can always take some of those packets and just add them.
It's like salt, but more?
Yes. It's salt that tastes better than salt. They haven't come up with a scientific name for it because it was previously thought not to exist. I'm gonna put that in the washer for Jorge.
It's the holy grail of flavors.
Yes. And science is still working on figuring out the logistics of it just so they can name it.
You know, it was a great day in the culinary world when they realized that they could mine nougat.
Yes, it was, and I'm still terribly sorry to hear about your uncle.
Nougat mines are very dangerous places. I'm about to have a taste. Let's have a sniff. It smells wonderful. I can, yeah. It's like the Orient met to Trailer Park. Here's a taste. Pasty. It's good.
I'm glad to hear you like it.
Now, I'm inspired. That flavor is astounding. Have you ever considered making an alcoholic beverage out of this?
Well, occasionally, but this usually, I only recommend it for people on their 20th to 25th Busch Light. You can add vodka wherever you wish to the recipe at whatever time you wish.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that being, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice aperitif.
Well, and plus, I use the term vodka in the sense that there are many different flavored kinds of vodka. So you could add an espresso vodka to that whenever you wish. Plus, if you're a guy not unlike myself, you just might crack open one of those silver packets and maybe just give a little dusting to the top.
Oh, I see.
Just a little dusting. It's more for looks and also sweet, delicious salt.
That has added great flavor or great color to the whole to the dish, like paprika on a deviled egg.
Right.
Just a splash of color.
Yes, and as you can tell from the packet, it also gives it a little bit of green to it. What also works in lieu of such is Lowry's seasoning salt.
Chairman, I'd like to thank you for stopping by today and joining me, Jim Glenstein, in my kitchen.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here and share this with you.
It was a great thing that you were able to participate. And my soup is about to be finished. I'll strain it out, and it'll be wonderful. This has been Make and Break, Episode 3, Cooking with the Chairman. Thank you for listening. Stop by makeandbreakshow.com. Read the blog, leave a comment, join the RSS feed.
The RSS feed.
Have a great night.
Tuesday, 3:37 p.m. New message 4.
I'm sorry, Dan. I didn't mean that. You know how I just get worried and emotional and unaware sometimes of what's going on out there. I'm not out in the public all the time like you are. I miss you.
Tuesday, 3:39 p.m.
Let us know what you thought of this episode of Make and Break. Send an email to jim@makebreakshow.com.